Hello, Internet. It is I, Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Today, we're going to be talking about Materialist. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros. Okay. Let's look at our cast here. Our main three people. We got Dakota Johnson, Chris Evans, and Pedro Pascal. All three being involved with Marvel in one way or another. So first, let's go with Dakota Johnson. So, yeah, you probably know her. Her main claim to fame was her role as Anastasia Steele in the 50 Shades of Grey movies. Movies that, despite being, ridiculed by the masses, torn apart by critics, they made money. That is undeniable. That first 50 Shades movie, when it came out, it was like the big deal. It had a lot of hype surrounding it, and said hype resulted in it falling off a cliff after opening weekend. But still, 166 million domestically, 500 million worldwide. That's amazing. And the sequels, they didn't do as good, but they still made money though. I didn't even know she was in Need for Speed. I had no idea. That's surprising. And then she was in How to Be Single. That did okay. Uh, I don't know about Black Mass. I think Black Mass just did meh business. Madam Web, an absolute classic right here. Gotta talk about this. Oh, yeah, it came out last year. It was a movie that was doomed to be a meme. um, and it was just really bad, but also kind of good at the same time. At this point, I think I'd label this as like a so bad it's good movie, because this movie is generally hilarious for like all the wrong reasons. But yeah, Madam Web was a big old flop. It was just a disaster. A disaster that Dakota Johnson, like, she straight up just said, like, she knew it was gonna happen. I mean, she's like all these interviews, like how film with a blue screen was like psychotic. And I think like on SNL, like right before the movie came out, that she said like, if AI created like your boyfriend's favorite superhero movie, like she did not care at all. And I greatly respect that. Like, when she talks about a lot of this stuff, like, she's very honest. She's very willing to like not, sugarcoat and just be real, and I respect that. And also, I do remember her. It was like a house tour, and she noticed like she had like limes on like the counter, and she's like, "Oh, I love limes," and then you find out later that that was just a prop that was put there, and she had no idea, so she had to say something in the moment. Yeah, I love that. But yeah, so that's Dakota Johnson. So that's our first Marvel actor. Our second Marvel actor, Chris Evans, who did it not once, but twice, as both Captain America and the Human Torch. As I'm about to show you right here. Well, first he started in not another teen movie. And then Fantastic Four, Johnny Storm. Yeah, well, that in the sequel, and in Deadpool and Wolverine. I will very much talk about the Fantastic Four movies in more detail when the new one comes out next month. But right now, yeah, I mean, these movies, because I mean, they're not great movies, these Fantastic Four movies, but Chris Evans' Johnny Storm was definitely like a high point for both of them, because he was like such an obnoxious like dickhead in both of them, but he was like a likable dickhead. So what else was he? Well, he voiced Casey Jones in the TMNT movie. I'm pretty sure some people probably forgot about that. A lot of nothing movies after that. Well, he was Lucas Lee in Scott Pilgrim, a role he reprised, in the anime Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. And then he was Captain America, Steve Rogers, in the first Avenger, and his career was never the same after that. Because he had like the first Avenger, then the Avengers. I guess just Thor: The Dark World, but that was more of a disguise. I think Loki was just disguising himself. Then Winter Soldier, then Age of Ultron, then Civil War. Then he made like a cameo appearance in like Homecoming, where he was more of like a gag and that. Then Infinity War, and then in Endgame, where he became like an old man. So, yeah, he's mainly known for like his role in the MCU. Where the hell is Deadpool and Wolverine? It's not here? Really? I still remember my crowd going wild when they saw him like as Johnny Storm saying like "Flame on!" Like that was a great moment. But ignoring MCU movies, he also did Snowpiercer, which became like a big old thing. Had a whole show and everything. It was that. Gifted, I think, did like okay as like a small little movie. There's Knives Out, which was a big hit. It's part of a big ensemble. Was he in Free Guy? Oh, he was in Free Guy. He had a cameo in Free Guy. Yeah, I remember. He voiced Buzz Lightyear in the ill-fated Lightyear movie that I know Pixar doesn't want to talk about ever again for obvious reasons. Some of these movies here are very much like streaming movies, so there's no reason for me to talk about them. Now, recently, he was in Red One, a movie that theatrically did bad, but Amazon doesn't really care doesn't really care that much. So hard to say whether it's like a real win or a real loss. But yeah, Chris Evans, Mr. Captain America, Mr. Johnny Storm. So yeah, we get to talk about him. And now, last one, Pedro Pascal, the new Mr. Fantastic. Yep. Okay. So for a while, he was just kind of like a background player, like a supporting player. But then recently, in the last few years especially, this man has been everywhere. It's absurd. It's crazy. Like, as you know, he portrayed the Mandalorian in the show The Mandalorian. Oh yeah, he was Maxwell Lord in Wonder Woman 1984. He was the main villain in that. There was Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, a super underrated movie that deserved better. He voiced in The Wild Robot. He was in Gladiator 2. Not even mentioning shows like he was Joel in The Last of Us. We're about to see him in Eddington, and then a week later in Fantastic Four: First Steps as Mr. Fantastic. Like I don't know how this man is doing all these movies and shows. I don't know how he has an insane work ethic, but yeah. So people absolutely know who he is. So yeah, those are our three leads, our three extremely recognizable leads. And that is obviously going to be a pro. So that's pro number one. Pro number two, reviews for this movie, if I just pull them up, are these critic reviews are quite good, as 87% critic score. That's real nice. Audience score is quite a bit lower. It concerns me a bit, similar to what happened with Phoenician Scheme. Has this sorry. 71% audience score. Its cinema score is a B minus, which is kind of a real below average for a movie like this. For like is it a rom com? I guess it is. Yeah, it is technically. And find out that's the same score Phoenician Scheme got, at B minus. So, I don't know if that bodes well for its long term box office, but critic score is still good, so I'll label that as a pro. But I guess the con side is not so great audience reactions. I mean, they're not fatal or anything, but they're not great. They're more mixed. So I guess that's a con. But moving on. Okay, when it comes to rom com, well, actually, no, I'll save that for cons. Other pros, its preview numbers for what this is. These numbers are actually pretty good. 1.5 million. I mean, sure. I mean, it's nothing compared to say like a big blockbuster, but this movie was never meant to be that. It's always meant to be like a smaller flick. And even compared to like some other like A24 movies, yes, this is an A24 movie, and I might as well talk about them while I'm here. Yeah, A24, the big hipster distributor. A lot of movies that other studios would like scoff at, but they're just like, no, we're gonna take this on. We're gonna sell this thing, and we're gonna release it out to the world. So you have so they have like a wide range. They have their horror movies. They have their Oscar movies. They have their insane movies and their normal movies. And this is one of their normal movies. Even compared to say, look at its preview numbers. Like Bring Her Back. I know this is a very poor comparison, but I had a preview number of like 850K, and you think that would do better because it's like a horror flick. So like the horror crowd's like a lot more will jump at the chance to watch it. But no, Materialists did way better than that, which I find very interesting. So yeah, but so it's preview numbers. I would label actually. What else can I compare this to? We haven't had like really any rom coms like at all this year. There's nothing that I can really remember. So I guess in terms of comedies, One of Them Days. How did that do? Because I'm curious. That a preview number 1.3 million. And I'll put like over like 11 million. Okay. So I say this bodes this bodes well for Materialist. So yes, preview numbers. I'll label that as a pro. Another pro, I guess in terms of like direct competition, there's really no other movie out there that's like this. Really, I know there's like other adult movies, but this one has a lot more momentum compared to them. So, and plus, like this movie works as counter programming to How to Train Your Dragon, so like that helps it out too. Um, so yeah, there's no serious competition that's really gonna like hurt this movie, at least in the near future. So I'd label that as a pro. And I guess I could go back to A24. They have a lot of success under their belt. Everything Ever All at Once, Civil War, Uncut Gems, Lady Bird, Hereditary, Talk to Me, Iron Claw, Moonlight, go on and on and on. So yeah, they have a lot of success under their belt. So I will label that as a pro. Well, on to cons. Well, we're already here, so let's talk about A24. Their track record as of like the last 2 years has been spottier than it probably should be. I mean, that does say like they haven't had like any hits, because they've had hits like Heretic, We Live in Time, and like Civil War, but they've had some misses, like say like Y2K or like The Front Room, which just didn't take off at all. And then this year has been like extra spotty. I mean, Warfare didn't do great, even though I think it deserved better. Friendship, I'm not sure where that is in terms of like success. I mean, I guess for A24 standards it didn't do bad, but I thought it would do a little better. Bring Her Back, same is in the same boat at this point. Death of a Unicorn, that was a bust. Opus was a bust. And Legend of Ochi, that was a bust. So, yeah, not a great track record, not a great recent track record. Although Materialist is projected to do like way better than these movies, so it won't really matter that much. But it is something to note. So yeah, I will label A24's recent, spotty track record, label that as a con. I already mentioned, mid audience reactions, label that as a con too. I guess I can just say there's a lot of like blockbuster-esque movies coming out in the next few weeks. How this movie fares against them, I don't know. Maybe it can survive as counter programming to all these big movies, but we'll see. But it won't really help this movie that much because all these movies are fighting for screens. So because of that, I got to label just blockbuster competition as a con. But I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. So opening weekend. What can I compare this to in terms of romantic? Let's look at romantic comedies. There's not a whole lot here. I mean, there's anyone but you. I could do that one, but that movie came out like on Christmas time, so that's literally apples and oranges right there. So there's no point really comparing it to that. And I guess just Fly Me to the Moon, but that movie just did horrible. So, I don't know. The rom com really died theatrically. Um, let's take it to Paradise. I feel like that's still too high. I don't think that's a really good comparison. Well, just shit. I don't got anything. Nothing like recent that'll really help me. So you know what? I'm just gonna look at the early numbers. They're saying this is gonna hit like 12 million opening weekend. I think I'm just gonna stick with the 12 million. So yeah, 12 million opening weekend. It's total. It could have okay legs, maybe. Yeah, I'm gonna say between like 30 to 40 million, somewhere in that range. If it goes higher, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, 30 to 40 million. I'm gonna stick with that, which would be quite good for A24. And yeah, that's it from Materialist. So we got one more movie, The Unholy Trinity, and then we're done for the weekend. Woo. So yeah, that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, share the whole drill. Want to check out more videos like this? I got playlists on the homepage, all previous prediction videos I made this year and the past few years. You want to watch any of them, go right ahead. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for any particular month. May recap will come out Sunday. June recap will come out the second weekend of July. So stay tuned for both of those videos. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos I made on the channel, go right ahead. There's also the Cancel series where I went over all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't. Never talked about Materialists once. There's 250 episodes, so you want to binge them all from beginning to end. I highly suggest you do that, so go do it. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.